Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the English Learning Podcast, where we help you improve your English speaking skills with fun and useful conversations. I'm your host, Jason, and joining me today is my wonderful co-host, Julia. How are you today, Julia?
Hi, Jason. I'm doing great, and I'm super excited for today's topic because it's something that holds many English learners back, and I'm sure our listeners will find it really helpful.
Absolutely. So, today's episode is titled Talk First, Think Later. Now, this might sound a little strange at first. After all, we're always told to think before we speak, right? But when it comes to learning English, overthinking can actually slow you down and make you less confident.
Exactly. Many learners hesitate because they worry about making mistakes, finding the perfect words, or sounding fluent. But guess what? The best way to sound fluent is to start speaking without fear, even if you make mistakes.
That's right. In this episode, we'll talk about why hesitation is your biggest enemy, why it's okay to make mistakes, and how you can train yourself to speak more freely and naturally in English.
And of course, we'll also share some practical strategies that you can use to speak with confidence, whether you're talking to a friend, in a meeting, or even practicing alone.
So, stick with us for the next 28 minutes, and by the end of this episode, you'll feel more ready than ever to talk first and think later. Let's get started. All right, so let's start with a big problem that almost every English learner faces: the fear of making mistakes. Julia, have you ever met someone who knows a lot of English but is too afraid to speak?
Oh, all the time. I once had a friend who studied English for years. She understood grammar, had a great vocabulary, and even listened to English podcasts daily. But when it was time to speak, she would just freeze.
That's such a common issue, and it's usually because people overthink before they speak. They're worried about sounding wrong, making grammar mistakes, or not finding the perfect words.
Exactly. But here's the thing, native speakers make mistakes too. Have you ever noticed how even fluent English speakers say or while thinking?